In either case, this is one day going to make a fantastic scripted drama in and of itself. I mean, we've had this saga go on for the last few, well, it's coming up to years now. I think it was on 18 months when it was first launched. It has all the ideas, fear, greed, some empires flailing as they kind of look to a new world.
The question is Netflix going to make the show?
Will Netflix make the show? That will be the question. But what we're going to see with Comcast now deciding that ultimately they would rather focus on Sky's assets is that they believe the European pay TV market, it's a mature business, it's a very high margin business. They would rather gain the capital from that because ultimately, it was a fantastic business, perhaps on the way out now. But they want to reinvest that capital in pursuing their future SVOD offerings. And as we mentioned before, that's not going to be cheap.
That's the thing. So you're talking about a relatively aging business model. Does that strike you as a good decision in that sense to keep on bidding more and more money on this asset because you see it as, at least in the short term, providing you with cash that you need for other ventures?
Of course. I mean, when you have that much of a committed subscriber base paying for those kinds of packages,
it's just so consistent.
That's a fantastic business to be able to get the capital from that and then ultimately reinvest it where you believe that you will have future growth.
What does it say, do you think, about Comcast priorities that they were willing to give up their chase for Fox's assets in the US?
It shows that they are clearly more favorable towards, I guess, what they know. So they want to go with the pay TV model and then perhaps look at where that's going to take them. I mean, for Disney, it's very, very different. Disney already have the assets where they can look to a far more international scope for their business. I mean, for the 21st Century Fox assets, which they're now going to go ahead and acquire, you're going to get Star in India. Now, you're looking at one of the biggest emerging media markets, biggest emerging markets anyway, but they are going to get that asset and they'll be able to compete with Netflix and Amazon Prime on a meaningful scale in that market.
So you consider that a bit of a jewel in the crown that perhaps has not been talked about that much?
It hasn't been addressed as much. I think people are still very, they can be very domestic-centric when talking about these markets because previously in pay TV you could afford to just focus on one country or one region. I think these acquisitions, what they tell us is that now you must have a truly global focus.
One thing, of course, in terms of the domestic interest in the US was Hulu that was talked about a huge amount. Comcast gives up on trying to get hold of that stake that 21st Century Fox has in Hulu, which was going to give it, in theory, a huge advantage when it came to streaming revenue. How do they go about trying to get that money now?
Getting the money through
streaming,
Hulu.
yeah, revenues in terms of the US.
Streaming, all about scale. You must have scale. You must create the content or have the content that's going to entice viewers over to your platform. And with Disney, of course, getting involved in their own streaming service, it's going to be a huge amount of competition, particularly to unseat Netflix.
Quick question, will it be damaging to Disney if they lose out on Fox? Sky, rather.
Very good question. Disney have the assets, they have the legacy, they have the experience to be able to continue. But if we are talking about the long term, Disney, if they do lose out on perhaps creating a meaningful direct-to-consumer operation, we could actually see one of the major major media companies rather, become an acquisition target for big tech. So much in the same way we've seen big telco and big media start to merge through the AT&T and Time Warner offering, we could actually even see Disney become an acquisition for big tech. I mean, will we see Apple, through their history with Disney, come in? That's one to watch for the future.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.